Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ritch Shydner.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hear backstage you're doing great. Yeah, legend means I'm still alive. That's what it means. It's fantastic. I think the last time I was in Sarasota, like years ago, my oldest daughter was 3 years old. We came where my parents lived in Bradenton at the time, so we went to the beach in Sarasota because obviously Bradenton Beach not happening. But Sarasota, unbelievable beach, unbelievable. Beautiful, beautiful beach. A little bit of pride, just a little bit of pride happening. But I didn't know there were seasons in the water. I didn't know. I have my 3-year-old daughter out there, and I stepped on something that shot pain up through my foot and into my leg, and I threw her up in the air, right? Threw her like 10 feet in the air. Now, you know, as a guy, as a father, now I gotta catch her. I have to make an athletic move, which is beyond my capabilities, but I did. I caught her. I couldn't believe I caught her before she hit the water because I didn't know what was underneath that water that she would get hurt. What's the first thing she says? Do it again, Daddy. Now she's 33 years old and thriving. That's what you're thriving. Well, like my parents would say, they'd ask about their kids. My parents would go, I asked my mom, how's your son doing? Or this one, she goes, paying her taxes and not in jail, doing okay. Right? That's a bare minimum. That's the way I look at it, you know. But they're all doing great now. And I think back when I was thinking back, you know, I said, I asked her about if she didn't remember that. I told her about it. She goes, well, I remember a lot of things, Dad. Like the time you were taking me to the airport on the way to college and you fell asleep in the diamond lane. I go, that's what I do. I give memorable moments to my kids. You remember that I nearly crashed a car taking to college? That's fantastic. A nice family moment. That's what it was. But she was that first generation. I realized she was the first generation of the car seat, the whole thing in a car seat. Right? We couldn't leave the hospital in 1990 unless we had a car seat to take her home with, right? I grew up, there were no car seats. Anybody remember that? I don't know what the technology was. The only thing we had was best shot we had. If you saw Dad go for the brake pedal, grab something in the back seat. That's even if you were sitting in the back seat, not laying on a ledge back with your face up against the rear window. Dad hits the brakes, you ricochet right inside the car for a couple minutes, land head first into a full ashtray. Secondary, smoke my ass. And keep the windows up, it's cold outside. My dad used to smoke 2 packs of Pall Mall non-filters a day. We were like a Cheech and Chong car coming down the road. Smoke billowing out of it, kids falling off of bumpers. I get it, it's a whole nother generation. I get it. That's why you see so many of those baby on board signs. Whenever I see one of those baby on board signs, I always think, oh, good thing you had that sign, because I was gonna ram your car until I saw that. There's a whole different thing going on. Everything, even like in terms of helping the kids out, they have services now that will come around your house and childproof it from accidents, right? So the kid won't have an accident around the house. That's fantastic. I remember in our family, it was like a whole, we have like one kid now. They have one kid, like a lot of one-child families, right? And our generation was like not so different, so much different. You got one kid, you tend to be more protective, right? Like this is both our bloodlines run through this kid. This kid we have to protect this child at all costs. My parents had 4 kids, played more percentage game. Well, if this one doesn't make it, maybe one of these will. No, honey, he's sticking his tongue in the light socket. This one's got no chance here, no chance whatsoever. Better have one more kid to cover this one, because he's a knucklehead and he's a goner, you can see that. Totally different. We used to grow up. We grew up in South Jersey on the Delaware River. We grew up 1 mile south, right? 1 mile south of DuPont's biggest chemical factory in the world. We swam in the river 1 mile south of the discharge pipes of the biggest chemical factory in the world. Every summer we had open sores and blotches and boils and dysentery, and we just thought that was part of summer fun. I get it's a whole different era. I remember my oldest daughter was about 4 or 5. She wanted to drive the car. You know, they want to drive the car. And I had enough sense to know I couldn't put her in a regular car because I had an airbag, but I had this old pickup truck at the time, a 76 Chevy I had. So I put her on my lap and I drove around the block 5 miles an hour, right? Had my hands just like this. But we lived in Los Angeles. One of our neighbors saw us and called Child Services on me. Next thing you know, this woman from Child Services in our living room, she's doing her job, but she's a little bit over the top. You know, because that was very dangerous what you did here. I won't do it again. I don't think you understand the danger of that. I said, I understand. No, you don't understand the danger. You don't think I understand the danger? I'll tell you danger. My dad used to put me on his lap to drive home when he was too drunk to do it. How about that for danger? Come on, boy, get up here now. Here you go. Let me know if you need the brakes or the gas. Help your old man light a smoke. Push that little button right over there. Push that. I remember the first time I told that joke, my parents were in the audience. My wife said I told that joke. My mom turned to my dad and said, I told you he'd remember. There was so much stuff we had to deal with. You know, my parents didn't have to deal with us. They didn't know about any drugs or anything. They had to deal with us. But our kids, man, well, we had to deal with them early on. You know, our oldest daughter was 13. My wife says, you have to deal with them. Because that was my area of expertise, was drugs, you know. Had a little drug experiment turned into a 20-year research project. When I was talking to my oldest daughter about drugs, it was like 2003 or something, you know. I was completely out of the game. I stopped drinking and drugging in '85, so I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know anything about ecstasy. I had to look it up, found out it was actually marketed in the 70s under the name MDMA, right, which I'd done, but I didn't know anything about it. I found out ecstasy was actually invented in World War I by the German army. They were looking for some sort of amphetamines to keep their troops alert for trench warfare that wouldn't be so harsh they grind their teeth down to sawdust. But then the troops are humping each other and playing oompa music all night long. And that's not the way the Germans want to run a war, you know that. Everything had changed, even the pot. The stuff we smoked back in the 70s was nothing, man. It was nothing. It was just some ragweed they pull up a ditch in Mexico and sent north, right? That's why you used to have to hold it. Remember that? They'd go, you take a hit, they go, hold it, man, hold it. Hold it in, hold it in. I know I was getting a high from the THC or lack of oxygen in my brain. This stuff they're smoking now, they germinate the seeds in the space station. They're growing hydroponic bunkers 3,000 feet underground. One hit of this stuff, your family can't do math for 5 generations. My wife wanted me to talk to the kids about pot. I wanted to complain to more than I wanted to explain to them, you kids don't like to have to clean your pot. Back in our day, we had to clean our pot. That's right, clean it. You had to take an album cover and a shoebox and you sift and separate the seeds and the stalks. Separate seeds, get them out of there. If you left a seed in a joint that blew up in your face, that was a buzzkill. But you don't know anything about that because all you got is buds, sticky buds. I didn't see a bud till I was 27 years old. All we had was $15 shake weed, a Black Light, a Pink Floyd album, hope the hell you got high. I am older, there's no question I'm older. I'm 70 years old now. Yeah, thank you, made it. That's the way I look at it. Somebody said, it's all downhill from here. I said, I hope so. I've already done uphill, I don't want to go uphill anymore. Downhill will be just fine for me. That's why I wear a suit. I wear a suit on stage because I believe I'm at the age where I need to leave the house looking coffin ready. I'm just trying to make it easy for everybody, folks. That's all I'm doing. If I take a walk, I stick by the main roads. I don't go off in the woods where you're going to find my body a couple of days later or anything like that. I'll be right by the highway, easiest spot, call it in. That's all I'm asking. Everything's changed. I'm getting injured in my sleep now. How's that happening? I walk into bed at night okay, I walk out in the morning with a limp. What's going on here anyway? Everything changed. Even your definition of fun changed. When you're young, fun is like bungee jumping, skydiving. You know what'd be fun for me? A nap. A nap where I dream about skydiving. That'd be a lot of fun right there. I don't have the energy I used to have. Thank God I live in America. We have far more energy drinks than any other country in the world. We must be the most tired nation on the planet. Go in the store, the shelves are filled with stuff. Rockstar, Monster, a 5-hour energy drink. The problem is, these energy drinks don't work for me like they work for a younger person. You pour a Red Bull to me, it's like pouring jet fuel in an old lawnmower engine. I just kind of shudder and shake for a couple hours and pass out. A friend of mine says, your problem, Rich, is you don't have enough testosterone. At your age, you probably have low testosterone, low T problem. You need to get some testosterone supplements. I go, that's just what I need, testosterone supplements. Have the anger of a 19-year-old, the reflex of a 7-year-old. There's a recipe for an ass kicking right there. you're young, that's when you do your thing. That's when you make your stories. That's when you go out there in the world and get it and mix it up a little bit, right? No good story ever starts with me and my 70-year-old buddies were sitting around. Remember that? And Larry tried to stand up too fast. He got dizzy and fell back in the chair. That was a riot, wasn't it? Because you know your friends, there's no good news coming about your friends. If somebody says, hey, you hear what happened to Fred? It's not like, what, did he make the Olympics? Everything changes, everything keeps changing. Okay. My wife and I moved. We had one more move left in us, and we made it. We moved from Los Angeles to Asheville in 2019. Just beat the pandemic. Fantastic. That move, though, boy, that's tough. When you're getting rid of all those things, I mean, you know, you're not going to move everything. We had like 30 years of stuff to get rid of, right? 30 years of stuff. My wife had a hard time letting go of things. She actually started watching these Maria Can Do or something. These videos, you know what I'm talking about? The video to help her release things, let things go. And she'd have something sitting out there, man, and she'd start chanting and dancing around it and waving sage in the air, you know. And she'd stop and pack it up in a box. That was good. She had no problem letting go of my stuff. She let go of my stuff real fast. My stuff went in a garage sale. $149, that's what my stuff was. There's some things you can't move and can't get rid of. We had a piano. My wife was a piano. She's a musician. Piano. We had a piano. Boy, couldn't sell it. Couldn't even give it away. I put it in the paper for free. Put it online for free. People call up and go, bring it right over. That's the whole point. Come and get it. Ah, forget it. That piano just stayed in the house. That was our gift to the new owners. Right? Boy. And move with pods now, right? Everything, these pods, you fill them up. We fill up these pods, fill them up. We had 3 pods. One of them is just pillows from the bed. Did those pillows sneak up on any of you other guys like me? We had 2 pillows for years. All of a sudden, we got a pyramid in the bed there. A pyramid of pillows. We have so many pillows, and we have a couch that's now in the bedroom. It's just to hold pillows while we're sleeping. That's all it's there for. And I'm not even allowed to touch the pillows in the morning. I'm not certified in pillow reconstruction. That's all there is. What a move, man. My wife's, she loves it, man. She got her first time she ever had a walk-in closet. I say she has a walk-in closet for all of her stuff. I got a limb that's right by the bedroom window. That's real nice. Tree limb, it's very close. I open the window, all my stuff is right there. Because we guys know, man, women pick out the house, it's their house. We get one room, right, guys? We get one, if you're lucky, you get one room. We got one room, right? We got one room. And a lot of guys now, the younger guys are going, this is the man cave. That's my man cave. Fancy name, man cave. It's still a garage, pal. You're still out there with the rat poison, the trash bags, and the weed whacker, right? Yeah. And we moved to North Carolina, the mountains, and my wife was all excited. She goes, we're going to go back to nature. We're going to go back to nature. Found out something. It's tough to go back to nature if you've never been there before. I didn't know they had bears. I didn't know it. I come out the first night, you know, at night, got a bag of trash. I didn't know they were nocturnal. Didn't pick that up from the Yogi Bear cartoons. Seemed like there was always a picnic in the middle of the day. I got a bag of trash. I come around the car. I'm from here to this woman right there with a bear. Now, first of all, a lot of times if you're sitting at home like me and you're watching TV, you see bears, and you go, I think I'd have a shot at taking one. I think I could give it a good fight. You see one live and up close, you go, I got no chance. Its eyes are this close together. It's got that look. You know, you've seen those guys in the bars in your lives, guys. You've seen those guys, you go, I couldn't hit this guy with a hammer. And, you know, this is a bear. It's a huge bear sitting right there. And there's another thing. It's much different when the bars or the cage are not in between you. It's a much different feeling. And this bear's there, and I'm there. I don't know what to do. It's got a bag of trash. I got a bag of trash. My first thought was, would you like a second bag? I don't know what to do. I just froze, which is the worst thing to do because the bear sees me as a threat and they did something I didn't even know they do. This bear, and I say they because I don't know what it was. I didn't look at the undercarriage. I really didn't have time. I just made an assumption. I just went they. I didn't want to insult the bear. I didn't want to get in any kind of trouble. So I say the bear's right there, and it did something, it did a bluff charge. You ever hear a bluff charge? It came like, boom, boom, like that, 2 steps towards me. It did not need to go that far. A wink would have done it. I was backpedaling for the house, man. I get inside, I'm just, man. My wife, I love my wife. We're good, well, I do, I absolutely love her. I'm crazy about her. We're married, we're at the point, where she's 63, I'm 70, so we were completely out of the love and cherish part of the wedding vows into the till death do us part section. It's a war of attrition, guys, you know that, and she's gonna win, I understand now. I'm okay with the whole thing, absolutely. We have like a love, but those moments, I don't care how long you've been married, how long you've been together, how much you love each other. There's gonna be those moments in any particular day where 1 second you look at the other person, you think to yourself, I wanna spend the rest of my life with you. And your next thought could be, how can I fake my death? No, I was just thinking, honey, that's all, just thinking, that's all. And if you're single, have never been married, you don't know what I'm talking about, I understand that too, because single people and married people are totally different creatures, right? Totally different creatures. You can tell by the way they leave the house. Single people go out, married people get out. Hey, don't misunderstand me, I love my wife, I want to be with her always, always. For a lot of reasons. Number one is I do not want to be dating at my age. I do not want to be dating at my age. I'm 70, I got friends that are out there dating, and one of my friends one night, he says to me, he's my age, he goes, hey Rich, I'm gonna go out and chase some women. I go, chase some women? Have you looked at yourself lately? Your chasing days are over. Your best shot is lay in wait. Set some traps and check them every couple of weeks or so. There's a lot of good things about being in a relationship. It's tough to be out there single at this age. I have friends of mine, they're dating and they're in their 60s, and I got a first date when you're both in your 60s. There's some interesting table conversation. So tell me, what did you used to care about? Another friend of mine, he's out of his mind. He tells me, he goes, I'm going to go after younger women. Now, again, this guy's 72 years old. I go, what do you mean younger women? Like 60, 65? What do you mean? He said, no, like 30. 30. 30. He said, I just need to find a woman with father issues. I said, no, grandfather issues. I said, you're out of your mind. I said, first of all, you don't have the money for that kind of play. You're not, I mean, let's face it, at that age, he says, no, but I still have a lot of charm, and I know I can pick a woman up in a bar. Let me tell you something. If you pick a woman up in that bar, a 30-year-old at your age, let me tell you this is going to end. It's going to end you alone in a tub of ice missing a kidney. That's how it's going to end. There's some advantages, just simple, the smallest little things are advantages. When you're married, no matter what age you are, 18 to 80, you can introduce each other easily. This is my husband, this is my wife, right? That boyfriend or girlfriend gets kind of gamey after a certain age, right? If you're a couple in the 50s or 60s, you're still using boyfriend or girlfriend, it's awkward. And now my friends, we have these friends, they're in the 70s, they're the same way. He struggles to find a way to introduce her. One night he actually goes, this is my lady. I'm like, what do you want, a Renaissance fair? I told him you should go over the emergency contact number. That should be its introduction. This is my emergency contact number. And then she can introduce him as her emotional support animal, and everybody's happy. It changes. I watch our kids, the kids, when you're in your 20s and 30s, you think back, right? And we were in our 20s, 30s. We're just like, we're going after each other. You got hormones just pushing you after each other. You're like salmon up a stream, you can't help yourself, right? But at a certain age, those hormone levels start to drop off in the 50s and 60s. If you're still dating, love becomes more of a math equation. Let's see, she lives 30 miles away. Gas is $3.29 a gallon. I don't think this was going to work out. I'm looking more for a neighborhood kind of gal, you know. My wife's funny. We were with this couple one time, and the other woman was saying, if I ever die or anything happens to me, I know my husband, he'll go after some young chippy, you know. My wife was like, not Rich. No. She goes, no, he won't go after a young woman because he's lazy. I said, you're right, lazy, man. I wouldn't date any woman young. If my wife was abducted by aliens tomorrow, I wouldn't go after any woman less than 65. You know why? Because I don't want to explain anything. I don't want to explain the Beatles. I don't want to explain Marvin Gaye. I don't want to explain the Godfather movies. I don't want to explain the Kennedy assassination. I don't want to explain nothing. And I don't want to hear another woman's life story, all right? That's the whole thing. I would imagine if you're both in your 70s, you get together, look, here's the deal, okay? I'm sure you had some, some sort of parents, you had some sort of education, you had big dreams, your 20s and 30s, they were crushed to dust in your 40s and your 50s, and that's why you're dating me in your 70s. Let's just move on from here, all right? Let's just go. I give in to things. I give into it. I like to marry. I go to things. I wear the wedding ring. Most of the time, sometimes I forget. I take it off or whatever, but I wear it. Some people say, well, you need a wedding ring as a reminder you're married. Anybody here married who needs that kind of reminder? Any married people ever get off work and go, what do I do now? Oh, go home, go home. I wish this thing had a tracking device. It'd be fantastic. One night, my wife and I were having dinner with this couple. I didn't know either one of the people. My wife was doing business with a woman, which is why we were having dinner with them. At some point in dinner, this woman noticed I wasn't wearing my wedding ring. I had taken it off to work out or something. I hadn't put it back on. She goes, he doesn't wear his wedding ring? My wife says, no, sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. She says, well, he should wear a wedding ring as a warning to other women he's married. My wife is like, his face is warning enough. Look, I know. Look, sometimes I forget to do little romantic things, like to talk to her. Because sometimes my wife will just come up to me, we haven't talked for a while, let's talk, let's make a connection, come on, talk to me. Come on, make a connection, look at my eyes, look at me, focus. What are you feeling? Women, you ask a man what he's feeling, look through his eyes carefully. If you look through his pupils, you'll see football scores start to scroll up on the back wall. What are you feeling? I'm not hungry. Feeling pretty good. My wife, sometimes she'll talk for a while and then she'll stop talking. She'll say, what do you think about that? And I go, I think I should have been listening better. That's what I'm thinking right now. It's okay that men and women have this different approach to communication. I understand that. They've done studies about it. They've books. I read a book years ago called You Just Don't Understand by this woman, Deborah Tannen, talking about men and women, why they communicate differently and why they have different levels and different things going on. And part of the reason is the way our brains are wired. Our brains are wired differently. In everybody's brain, between the right side of the brain and left side of the brain, there's this connecting bridge called the corpus callosum, which allows thoughts back between two sides of the brain. Now, apparently women have a 4-lane highway there, and we guys have a little dirt path. Which means women have a freeway trucking thoughts and feelings back and forth up there. We got a Sherper guy dragging one letter at a time across a rickety bridge. What this means in terms of verbal output, women use more words in a day. In any particular day, a woman will use like 11, 12,000 words a day. Guys only using 8,000 to 9,000. So that's what's happening. In any particular day, a woman just has a bigger pile of words to work from than the guy does. So beginning of the day, when a man and woman go off their separate ways to do what they do during the day, the guy uses up all his words. At the end of the day, woman's got words left over. So that's what's happening. The man and woman get back together again that evening, and she's like, let me tell you what happened to me today. When I went to work, there was a new woman at work. Well, I was talking to her. I found that she went to summer camp with the woman I went to college with. Now, we did not know each other before today, and now we know the same woman. So this summer, all three of us get together. In some ways, it'll be nostalgia looking back. In some ways, an adventure moving forward. It'll be a lot of fun. What happened to you today? work, car, home, beer, happy. It's okay we're different. It's okay we're different. Used to be a whole thing about shopping. Now the whole thing has changed with Amazon shopping. It's whole different, boy. We're just, it's not a good situation. Both of us old people in bed with our cell phones in the middle of the night, you know what I mean? I'll show you some shopping here. I'll show you some shopping. You order so much stuff on Amazon, stuff arrives, you forgot you even ordered. It's like Christmas. Hey, I didn't realize I had a popper coming. My wife still likes garage sales. Garage sales is like a cultural thing for her, right? I mean, she did it with her mother, and she's done it with our daughters. Sometimes all three generations going out together, right? Garage selling is a whole different thing. And I'm not being sexist here, but don't tell me that guys are garage selling. I've never been in a car with any of my buddies have them go, hey, Ritch, stop, garage sale. Looked like I had a pair of shoes back there that might fit you. But I'll be driving down the road in the car with my wife, and she'll see a 3x5 car tacked up on a tree about 8 miles up ahead. Garage sale! Pull over! Next thing you know, I'm standing in some guy's driveway. He's on one side of the table. I'm on the other side of the table. I'm like, what's this thing, man? I don't know. My wife got a garage sale. I don't know what it is. Come on, it's your turn to have it. Come on, take it out of here. Come on, it's your turn to have it. Come on. Come on, just give me a quarter. You got to give me a quarter, right? You got to give me a quarter. Yeah, she's looking at me right now, right? Yeah, I can't give anything else away. You just got to give me the quarter. Come on, give me the quarter. Give me the quarter. I'll carry the thing out to the car for you. I'll give you the quarter back to you. Just give me the quarter. Not many arguments anymore, though. That's really nice, right? You know, you get to the point where it kind of don't have a lot of the argument things that we used to have when we were younger, man. That's absolutely true. Sometimes, though, the arguments still come out of nowhere. You ever been awake in the middle of the night with the other person? Wake up, wake up. Had a nightmare about you. We were driving in the desert and you just left me there. Well, go back to sleep, I'll come pick you up. As soon as I finish fighting a monster in my dream, I'll come pick you up. Right? I don't know, I'd already talked to my wife about this. She goes, don't you talk about sex anymore. You can't talk about sex anymore. You're too old to talk about sex. I said, I'm not going to show him me having sex. If I did show him, it'd be easy. I'd just show a video of a fish flopping in the bottom of a boat, you know. I don't care if only 2 guys got that joke. I don't care. But really, you know, she makes me sound like an old-time Western pioneer guy. Gosh, Shorty, you should have been having sex back in the 70s. But everybody was doing it, everybody. Me too, I was right in there with them. I mean, we don't, you know, used to be, you know, when you're younger, you know, you have an argument, which is great. You have an argument and go right into makeup sex. Now we have an argument, we skip the makeup sex, move into the next argument. Usually about why we're not having makeup sex, that's all. Oh, it's okay. We got it down now. We got it down when we do have sex. And then sometimes it's, you know, it's just a thing. Sometimes I'll wake up in the morning excited, you know what I mean? My wife will like, you want to hop one? Come on, some women out there are offering hop-ons too, you know what I mean? You want to hop on? You can have a hop-on. There's not going to be no action on my part. I may be checking my emails, but you can have a hop-on if you want. And I ain't too proud to beg. I'll take a hop-on sometimes too. When we do have sex, we're engaged, both of us have it. You know, we are, you know what I mean? We have it down. At this point, as long as we've been together, we got it down, man. 3 minutes, start to finish, we're done in 3 minutes. We beat most commercial breaks. We have beaten Amber Alerts. That's how fast we can crank one out. When you're young, you'd like to have a long set. You know what I mean? When you're young, you like to get going, crank it up, get sweat and everything. If one of us is perspiring, somebody's in trouble. That's what's happening there. What do you got, the flu? What do you got, the okay there? You got a leg cramp? Come on, shake it out. Let's go. Come on. Come on, close your eyes. Think of somebody else. Let's end this thing. Come on. We do the same thing every time we have a ritual. It's just a ritual, that's all. She goes first and I go second. You know what I mean? She has hers first, I have mine second. That's the way it's always been. That's the way it's supposed to be, right? That's it. Not because I'm a gentleman or anything, because generally speaking, it takes a woman longer to have an orgasm than a guy. Right? And it goes back to that corpus callosum thing, because women get more interaction between two sides of the brain. They have to focus, you know. Right? Guys, we get locked on one side of our brains. We have to try to think of things to distract us from having an orgasm, right? Let's see, Mickey Mantle about at 327 in 1958. You know, it's a good player, good player. Willie Mays is great, but he was on the West Coast as New York newspapers came out early. And those Yankee teams were better, that's all. Willie was good, but he wasn't on a good team like the Yankees. And Mickey Mantle, they were fantastic players back then, a lot of good players. There was a Beatle before who Ringo started, who was that yellow? Pete Best, that's right, Pete Best. Wonder what happened to Pete Best. He's probably in England somewhere pumping gas. Pumping, I should have said pumping. No, we keep it real simple, real simple. We only have two positions, and one of them is just a backup in case I get injured. That's all that is. You know? Our go-to position is her laying her back with her legs in the air. Not because she's in ecstasy, but she's got to keep me in the pocket. I'm kind of weak up there these days, you know what I'm saying? Really, seriously, it's like those bowling alley gutters. They got to have those gutter rails up for me, man. Oh, she drops a leg, I got to fall off the bed. I could be injured. I could be out for a long time. You kidding me? A hard-on in a wood floor? That's a career-ending injury. You folks have been a great crowd. I thank you very much, and good night. Thank you. You've been a great crowd. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.